Coming now to officially welcome you and bring remarks is none other than our Dean of Students, the best if I just say so myself, Mr. Joe Scott.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. It's always a pleasure to be a part of Inductions, and it's always a pleasure to work alongside all our student leaders here at the University of New Orleans. Standing on a protocol that's been established already, I always say we meet on behalf of our president, our trustees, and all of the members of the Financial Council. Welcome. It is always an honor. I look forward to working with all of you. This, once again, will be another year for us to really become creative in the way we address current issues for our students. It will be another opportunity for us to really think outside the box as it relates to being innovative and thought-thinkers. It's an opportunity for us to really change the landscape in which we view our college education. We know COVID-19 has really just showed up and really shaped all of our lives. And I will say that the last administration would have done a pretty good job with adapting and trying to make the best out of the situation that was handed to them and all of us. So I look forward to you carrying on the mantle and really elevating what the last board would have done. And we're really just making a major impact. Just know that your voice is going to be heard. Students are looking forward to looking towards you to be trendsetters, to be leaders, and to be those that affect change in a greater community. So always know that you're being watched. Many times we don't want to acknowledge this, but the reality is we're not really an official. And I say that because no matter what you do, no matter where you go, no matter any interaction you have, people are always going to say, they may know you by name. They may not know you, but they know your face, and they know your affiliation. So just be mindful of that. So you sometimes lose your individuality because of your involvement in a greater community. So I encourage you, I applaud you, particularly to be great, particularly the students that we meet at the University of New Orleans, and know that my office, an extension of the entire division of student affairs, is truly here to support you 110% of the way. So once again, welcome and thank you for having me.
So I have the task of introducing one of the movers and shakers of this university. Is the person of Mr. Ashley Mills. So he is the director of Green Life and Student Leadership at the University of New Orleans. In this capacity, Mr. Mills has primary responsibility for the overall vision, leadership, and assessment of services and programs for the department. He is responsible for primary advisement of 12 organizations at the University of Nevada. He holds a Master's of Arts degree in Educational Leadership, Higher Education emphasis from the University of Nevada, a Bachelor's degree in Music, Voice, and Piano Performance from the Cook University, an Associate's degree in Music from the University of Nevada. He has 6 years of student affairs experience within youth orientation, admissions, recollect, student government, and residence life and housing. Additionally, he has 10 years of professional music experience ranging from piano and keyboard, singing, music technology, and production. He is also the director of the Bahamas National Children's Choir and a proud member of the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Ashley Mills.
It's a little awkward, but that's okay. All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Oh, wow, y'all look very dry. Good afternoon, everyone. Good. It's good to see everybody here looking bright, I think, and you're smiling under those masks. So if you do it or not, I was not originally supposed to be the speaker for today. Wow, surprise! Yay! But be that as it may, I guess this is a part of what I do in my job, so I don't mind doing it. I like talking. So, we're going to do something a little different today, which you're probably not used to from the speaker. This is going to become SGA 101. Okay? We're going to have a class for like, all of that. That's a real class. So, 10 minutes? 15, okay, so 5:20 or so, we should do that. 5:25, 5:30. Okay, great. So this is going to be SGA 101. What we're going to do is we're going to have a conversation. I'm going to get you all involved. And so we have persons that have been in SGA for a while. We have some new folks. We have some returning people. And so we're going to have an opportunity for you all to be involved in the conversation. One of the major things I think is very important when we talk about the work that you all do is this very, very interesting word called motivation, right? We're going to do a breakdown of what that means. Because what we find is that when students start student organizations, when they get involved in SGA, they do all these things, they're like, oh my God, I'm so excited, yay, yay, yay. And by mid-year, December, January, the semester rolled around, you can't find half of SGA. We can't find half the student organizations. Everybody's gone, and it's like, oh, I have to come to a meeting again. Oh, we have to do another program again. Oh, I have to do another flyer. Over it, right? Anybody can attest to that? No? Yeah, right? And so, usually what happens is we get really excited, we know what we want to do, we set our goals, and then we lose our motivation, right? Somewhere along the line, it happens that we just don't feel it anymore. And that happens for a few reasons, right? We know that, first of all, you're a student, right? And so that means that you have academic responsibilities. And I know that for most of you, if not all, the major that you're probably in is quite difficult, right? You got to go to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 classes a semester, deal with stressful lecturers, deal with stressful group members. And then on top of that, you have to add on the responsibility as a member of student government. So, how do I remain motivated? So I'm going to ask you all, just generally speaking, from your space, your place in life, what are the things that motivate you to do what you do? Why do SG? Why am I in SG? What am I doing it for? If you could give me like one word or two words. Anybody? Selma, go first. Just shout at us. Why are you here? What do you do this for? For the students. That's good. Except when they make you mad. Then it's not so good, right? Well, that's good. What else? Why else do I do it? Yes. I relate to their pain, right? I had the pain and I was like, I can't deal with this. Let me see if I can, make some change. Somebody else said, come over here. Experience. What kind of experience? Which one again? Leadership experience, administrative experience, okay, all those things. What else? See change or be change? Which one? Be the change. I like that, right? You want to be the change. What else? Be a helping hand, right? Good. So all of these nice, fluffy things that we say, oh, I want to be the change, I want to help somebody out, I want to do all these great things right at the beginning of the year, and then probably by September 1st, it's like, the minute you had a conversation with somebody, it's like, do I really want to do this? Because this girl really irritated me. And I bet, this is not it. And these administrators, Joe ain't giving us what we need, and he running on through email, and they get what we want, right? And so all of these things kind of stifle that drain, that vision we have of what I want to do, how I want to get there. But let's talk about some things that's going to help to keep you motivated. And these are some of the things I talk about in the class that I teach. So that's why I said SGA 101. So we're going to take on a class type setting. So some of the things that we talk about when we talk about self or motivation is self-advocacy. Anybody ever heard of that word? Advocacy? Don't really know what it stands for, right? It's like, what does that really mean? Okay? Well, first of all, we know what self is, right? That's me, right? And anybody know what advocacy is? Right? It relates to efficiency, how well something can be done. And so, when you put those two things together, it means how well I believe that I can do something. So, simply put, it really means how much do I believe in myself? Right? And sometimes we kind of shy away from that because we don't want to be like pompous or we don't want to be like too, oh, I'm this and I'm that, right? But in order to get anything done, you have to actually believe that you can do it. Right? That's the first step. If you don't believe it, if you don't see it, if you don't think that it can actually happen, then it's probably not going to happen, right? And so the first thing you have to do is realize that I can do this thing, right? I can be an effective member of SGA. I can help my team members. I can also do well in school. I can balance all of these things. All of that has to be put together to actually get to self-efficacy, where I now see it, I believe it, and I do it, right? So, whenever you come to a situation, you're like, I don't know what's going to happen. This is really tough. I put this, what do you call it? When you put those boards together. No. Like when you get students, you're like, oh, we want to do this thing, and we want to come on this. Yes, that's the word, right? That's the worst word, steering committee. Because you get all these people, they're really involved in SGA, but they want to help out. You put them all together, you're like, yeah, let's do this, right? And they become very frustrated because, first of all, 3 people give you like outlandish ideas. It's like, no, hold on, slow down, right? And so you have to really say to yourself, can we get this thing done? Do I believe in our capacity? Do I believe in my capacity? So how do I get to believe in myself? How does that happen? Faith. What type of faith? Faith in yourself. What else? Planning, right? Because if you can plan it out, you can kind of see it. And it's probably something that you can accomplish. What else? Having the support, being able to execute that plan, right? Because we like vision boards. They look real pretty, but most times they just stay as a vision, right? We don't get any further than that. So I do all these things, I plan it out, I see it, I believe it, and I execute it, right? But the first thing I do is I believe in what I'm capable of doing. So, as you go into this new year, that's the first thing you have to think about. In the position that I have in SGA, do I see myself being able to do what needs to be done to get the job done? Now, you may say yes, or you may say no. And if you say no, what is it that I need to do? If I'm like, oh wow, this is a big task. I've never done this before. I've never held this type of position before. I really don't know if I can do it. What do you do? Ask somebody who did it already. That's a really good point. You know what we as behaviors don't like to do? We don't like to ask for help, especially with the people that actually did it before, right? It's a thing in our culture where we believe that because I'm doing this thing, I have to take it on and I have to reinvent the wheel and I can't get support from somebody who has done it before. That's not how to do it. The first thing you do is go to the person that did it right before you and say, hey, I want all the knowledge you got. Tell me all the do's and the don'ts. Right? My own experience, when I first came back to UB in this role, I went to Joe and I'm like, Joe, this is your job. What do I do? How does it work? How does it function? How did you enjoy the experience? What are the things that you've been able to do or the things you weren't able to do? How can I effectively do that? How can I take it beyond that, right? And so, what you should have done if you've not done it already, the person that is in the position or was in the position that you're in last year, or the year before that, or even maybe 3 years before that, reach out to them. Say, hey, I'm now the senator for the School of Social Science. How did you enjoy that experience? What were the things you were able to accomplish? What didn't go right? What went wrong? Especially now that we're in this virtual environment, right? Because now we don't get to see each other face to face as we'd like. And the people who did this last year can tell you that it was very challenging. Like this whole life change for all of us was very challenging. And we are still here. So reach out to those people. Say, hey, I need some help. You don't even think you need it. Still do it. I need help. Or you may say, hey, I have these ideas. This is what I want to do. These are the things that I want to see accomplished. Do you think it can work within our school? Do you think students will enjoy this thing? Because a lot of times we like to come up with some things that just don't, they hit the wall and they kind of just bounce off, right? You got to make sure whatever it is that you're doing is actually going to hit and be effective. Because you all know students, because you all know yourselves, right? You're not going to go to something, you're not going to be in something if it's not interesting to you, if it's not going to actually help you. And so although I might have all these ideas, I see all these things that I can get done, I might actually take the time and sitting down with somebody and saying, hey, how did it work out for you? Okay? So you should be doing that now, or you should have already done that because school already started on Friday, but you still have some time. And so take time, go back and say, hey, help me out. See my vision. Is it something that you think is possible? Now, the thing is with that, seeking advice is important, but like my grandmother always said, it takes someone giving you something, right? Somebody might give you something and like, well, they might give you the worst news ever, and they give you all of these things like, oh my God, it was so hard, and I hated it, and yada yada. That happens. But do you allow that to affect what you're going to do and accomplish? Right? Is that then going to set the tone for what happens for the entire year? No. So you're going to say, I'm going to take this, I'm going to leave this bit, right? And so that takes some intellectual capacity to say, okay, I know what needs to get done here, I see this conversation where this is, and I know how effective this is going to be. So, that's the first thing. Next thing that's very, very important when we talk about being able to be motivated is actually rewarding yourself. And what do I mean by that? A lot of times we get in the motion, right? We do so many things. Every day I have to do this, I have to do that, this has to be accomplished. But we don't take time to say, hey, I did really good at that thing. I did a good job, right? I'm proud of myself. And because I'm proud of myself, I'm going to reward myself, right? Because you'll find yourself in a spiral where you just keep going, keep doing, over and over. You're actually pulling from yourself and nothing is being poured back in, right? And I'm sure you hear this all the time. In order to pour into other people, what you gotta do? You gotta pour into yourself, right? And one of those things is something that we as Black folk and big women don't really realize. It's something called self-care. What does that mean, right? That means I'm taking care of myself. I'm finding the things that make me happy, and I'm making sure that I get those things done. And it has to be deliberate, right? You can't say, okay, maybe in a couple of weeks, I'll take a break and I'll do something fun, right? Self-care should be something that you do every day. What is your daily routine? What are the things that help you to get through each day? You have to figure that out, because once you get started, again, that's one cycle that continues over and over, and it's like, what's next? So, if I know at the end of the day, I like to light a candle, I like to listen to music, I may want to do some reading. If that is my routine for the day to unwind and unpack and take care of self, then I do that. Find out what that thing is and reward yourself every day. Don't allow yourself to go through a cycle and you're not taking care of self. Right? So you gotta take care of yourself, you gotta reward yourself, and also have fun. Right? We take ourselves so seriously. I'm doing this thing, I have this big title, and there's no fun involved. There's fun, there's enjoyment, there's laughter. There's time to really get a good experience from each other and students that you interact with. So have fun. And then, let's see what else I have in my notes that I'm going to talk about. The last thing, and I kind of touched on this already, is, with being motivated, is building relationships, right? And that's important because you gotta have some people that's on your side, that's in your small circle, that's gonna continue to push you. I find that, especially with freshman students, right? They come into university and they come from high school and they think that if I have the same friends that I have in high school and we are great and we get into college, it's gonna be the same. That changes, right? Because your perspective on life changes, the experiences you're gonna have changes. So that means your circle is going to change. And you gotta make sure that the circle that you're in, those people are motivating you to be better than you are. If they're not pushing you to be better than your best, then it doesn't make sense to have those people around. Right? If you're the one in the friend group that's always pushing everybody else, you need to find another friend group. Or you need to have a serious conversation with them and say, hey, we gotta get to the next level. But make sure that the people that are around you are pushing you farther than you see yourself. And what does that mean? That means that when you come with ideas, when you come with a vision, when you come with a plan, they're actually giving you something to take that beyond that thing. Right? They're actually saying, I like what you're doing here. I want to help you get there. Because a lot of people will say, oh yeah, that sounds nice. But how many people say, oh, let me help you? People don't do that. Oh yeah, you think, I like that for you. But your real friends, the real people that are really supporting and motivating you, are the ones that are going to say, okay, well, how do we get that done? How can I help you get there? So make sure that your group, your circle, are motivating you beyond yourself. And not only they saying it, but they're actually showing it, right? Their actions reflect that they understand that you have something greater and they want to push you beyond where you're at. So, those three things that we talked about, self-efficacy, when you believe in yourself, you understand that you can get this done, you've already put the plans in place, you know that it's possible, then you reward yourself, you have fun, you don't take yourself too seriously, you take care of self-care, and then thirdly, you got to make sure that the people around you are pushing you forward, right? Not pulling you back. So like I like to do in all my classes, are there any questions? That was pretty straightforward, right? And to add to that, make sure that you are doing the same thing, right? You are helping somebody else. You are our leaders for a reason. We believe in you. We believe that you can do it. But when you see a student come to you and they're struggling or they're having a hard time, don't say, oh, child, I have that same problem too. Good luck, right? That's not what you're here for. You're actually there to actually say, okay, let me see what as much as I can do. Let me see as much as I can help. I can pull you along, right? And that helps their experience. Because I'm sure all of you are sitting here as leaders because somebody else who was a student leader looked at you and said, hey, let me bring you along, right? Let me make sure you drink this Kool-Aid, right? So be that person and don't ever stop being that person. Enjoy your experience, make the best out of it, and make sure that you're bringing somebody along. Because we need more leaders. The Bahamas needs more leaders, more people that are going to change the face of this country, right? And it may sound very cliche, but it literally starts here. If I tell you what the history of SGA Cobus is leaders. The country has persons that were presidents, executives in SGA and Cobus that are now leaders of this country. So that's you all sitting right here today. And tomorrow, you'll be doing that. Okay? So that's all I have, and thank you so much. I think that's
Please let's give another round of applause for Ashley. Thank you, Ashley, for showing us one of the many qualities of a leader, being called upon last minute to complete a task. As student leaders, you may be called on at the very last minute to complete something, and I can confidently say that the Student Government Association is something that will prepare you for that. Now, I have a question for free. Are you knowledgeable?
Yeah.
Are you truthful?
Yeah.
Do you have integrity?
Yeah.
Oh, I tell some of y'all, but anyway. If not, you have about 5 minutes to think about it or reconsider why you wanted to be a student leader. Coming now to introduce the members of this Student Governing Board for the 2021-2022 year is the incoming Director of Finance, Celine Ferguson. Public Relations.
So good evening all. My name is Celine Ferguson, the Director of Public Relations for this incoming board, and it is my pleasure to not only say congratulations to all who took the initiative to join SGA, but to also take the time to go through the requirements to stay here. So with that being said, I would like to introduce my fellow colleagues because I am so proud of you all. I'm going to be starting with the executive branch. So firstly, we have Arthur Jones, our president. Next, we have Ravel Dean, our vice president. We have Shaprika Clark, our secretary general. Joshua Bethel. For our Deputy Director of Finance, we have Aisha Lewis. Our internal auditor is Nelson Chapman Jr. For our Director of PRA, it's me. For our Deputy Director of Public Relations, my lovely helper, Jonathan McLean. Our SGA editor is Monte Hannah. Renbert Mortimer is our Student Officer of Disabilities and Compliance. And now we go to the fun part, senators, our legislative branch. So starting off, we have our senator for the residential campus, Leonardo Cornish. Our Center for Culinary Arts and Tourism Studies, also our Senate Speaker, Selva Hudson. We have our co-senator for the School of Business and Hospitality Management, Deja Dorset. Our next co-senator for the School of Business and Hospitality Management is Tanika Gardner. And our third co-senator for the School of Business and Hospitality Management, Matthew Williams. We then have our Deputy Senate Speaker as well as the Senator for the School of Chemistry, Environmental, and Life Sciences, Grace Gold. Our co-senator for the School of English, School of Education, Brianna Jones. Our second co-senator for the School of Education, Todd Denton. The senator for my school, because I'm biased. The School of Math, Physics, and Technology, Leandra Monsami. We have the co-senator for the School of Nursing and Allied Health Professions, Shekinah Curry. Our second co-senator for the School of Nursing and Applied and Allied Health Professions is Aaliyah Holmes. And our lovely senator for the School of Social Sciences, Gabrielle Burnett. As we all know, we all need our advisors to be in our corner to help us, so next we have our advisors. So first up, we have Ashley Knowles, Dakota Darwell, Renbert Mortimer, Malin Seymour Major, Aaron Brown, Peter Mitchell, and Joe Phelps. And following our advisors, we have our presidential advisors. So we have the former president, Maxine Charles, the former vice president, Ocean Rowling, Luciano Pierce, and our lovely moderator, Shakia Charlton. So we would all join me in congratulating this lovely board, our SGA General Board for the year 2021-2022. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Celine. Don't those pictures look lovely? Shout out to the our sponsor. To those who may not be fully aware, the purpose of the Student Government Association shall be to be the official voice of the students at the University of the Bahamas, to effectively serve and protect the rights of students at the University of the Bahamas, to advocate for and protect the rights of students, to advocate for and promote the welfare and interests of the student body, to represent the student body on university committees, administrative and academic bodies within the University of the Bahamas where applicable and necessary, to keep its members fully informed of all matters regarding their common interests, and to liaise between administration and students, and develop the student leadership at the University of the Bahamas. To foster among its members a sense of responsibility and pride. These tasks require a new background, but I am hopeful that you will have a successful year. We will now welcome back Ashley Knowles to lead the SGA group.
All right, thank you. So, can we have all our executive members stand? We're going to do this in two parts. Right? Executive. Okay. So, prior to assuming office, each elected officer shall name at his or her installation the following oath or affirmation. So, you're going to repeat after me, and there's a space where you're going to insert your name. You insert your name and your position. All right? So, repeat after me. In the presence of those here assembled, and in full realization of the high calling I say. Assume the position of. There you go. In the service of the University of the Bahamas Student Government Association. All right. Now, okay, so let's keep going. Now, I state your name. Do hereby solemnly swear or affirm to be faithful to the University of the Bahamas and do so sincerely promising at all times to promote that which will advance. Okay, so to do sincerely promise at all times to promote that which will advance all that oppose the harm of the university, SGA, to obey, uphold, and maintain the Constitution, upheld the bylaws of SGA, and all policies of the university, and to execute my duties with all my strength and talent to the best of my knowledge and ability. I insert your name. Say so. So help me God. Thank you very much again. Right now, senators. The whole room of senators. Okay. So I'll take it nice and slow again. In the presence of those assembled here, and in the full realization of the high calling, I state your name. Assume the position. There you go. In the service of the University of the Bahamas Student Government Association. Now, I state your name. Do hereby solemnly affirm or swear to be faithful to the University of the Bahamas
be faithful to the University of Bahamas,
and to do so sincerely promise
and to do so sincerely promise
at all times to promote that which will advance and oppose all that may harm the University of the Bahamas Student Government Association. To obey, uphold, and maintain the Constitution and amended bylaws of SGA and all policies of the university, and to execute my duties with all my strength and talents to the best of my knowledge and abilities. And so help me God. Thank you.
Please help me and join by welcoming the new SGA board. Anthony Jones is a 24-year-old senior student from the beautiful island of Providence, Bahamas. She is studying at the University of Bahamas, where she will obtain a Bachelor's of Science degree in biology with a minor in chemistry, and an Associate of Science in Engineering. Her career aspiration is to become a biomedical engineer, in addition to operating a sustainable farm. She is described as disciplined, dedicated, and trustworthy. She enjoys helping others in any way she can, and loves to see others smile. A major part of her life includes being involved in educational and community organizations. At the university, she is a 4-year member of the Student Government Association, where she serves as senator for her school, secretary general, presidential advisor, and incoming president. She is the student trustee, of the university's board of trustees, where she represented the entire student population. She is also a member of the National Society of Black Engineers. In addition, she is a member of the university's Environmental Pride Club, where she serves as vice president. She is also an ambassador for public campus ministries. She also enjoys volunteering with the university's campus life department and STEM-related activities. She is a youth ambassador and a youth leader of her church. She loves the words in Jeremiah 29, verse 11, which states, "For I know the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper you and not harm you, to give you hope for the future." She believes that what's possible with man will always be possible with God. She believes the purpose of her life is to inspire others and to the impossible. Throughout her lifetime, she has always had one goal: to make a positive change in everything that she does. She lives by the motto, excel and conquer in every aspect of life. With a dedicated spirit, she pushes and strives for the fulfillment of her career aspirations, fights for human rights, and be an inspiration to others. SGA, please help me welcome your president, Ms. Anthony Jones.
Hello, everyone. Hi. Dan. Hi.
Joseph Stubbs in the back. Ferguson, sorry, Joseph Ferguson. So yes, and then we have Dr. Veronica Topic. So good evening again, everyone. My name is Arthur James, and I humbly serve as the 2021-2022 president of the Student Government Association. So life as we know it has taken a complete different turn over the past year and a half. And we're all grappling with the devastating impacts of the novel coronavirus pandemic. Yet today, here we all stand as leaders from our respective schools and the entire student body. We took risks even when clouded by uncertainty and in some cases doubt, to stand up and fill in the gap for the student body, and for that, we all deserve a round of applause. So, as you know, SGA's main responsibility is to help facilitate student and faculty relations, and we do that by ensuring that students' concerns and needs are resolved, while overseeing student organizations and other activities on campus. And this is a job that we personally, I hold dear to my heart, and I hope that we will too. And it's definitely a job that will not be easy. So as such, I invite you to join me on this journey so that we may together go through this year's lowest valleys and highest mountains and conquer and grow. So today, I call on you, the newly elected Student Government Association, not only to take your jobs with a grain of salt. Understand that this year will not be easy, and in some instances, it will not always be fun. But together, we can make the most of it, forever etching our names into the annals of the University of the Bahamas. And as our main goal is cultivating students for the 21st century workplace, we must remember that our success is based in our synergy. We will create new policies, increase student engagement, and of course be the voice of the students, who in most cases are voiceless with the highest in conduct and moral. So, full disclaimer, I'm not attached to any political organization, right? But the reality is, it's a new day and it is our future. The Student Government Association. So yes, it is a new day and it is our future. And it is our time to be large and in charge. And we must propel our interests forward and take SGA to the next level. So SGA 2021-2022, I want to say congratulations and let's get ready for a hell of a run. Thank you, Madam President. Selma Edwin Hudson was born on November 25th, 1999, at the Princess Margaret Hospital. He attended the North Eastern Primary School, Morrisville Primary School, where he graduated in 2011 and moved on to NGMA High School and graduated in 2017. He is presently a student at the University of the Bahamas studying culinary arts. While attending NGMA, he was an assistant house captain, public relations officer for the local government junior council, and leader in the PNC Navigator. He won the junior national young chef competition in 2014, and the second place finalist of the 2017 senior national young chef competition. He was presented with the Vice Principal's Award in 2016 by Mr. Edno Adams. Since attending the University of the Bahamas, he continued taking on leadership roles. He is the former president of the Junior BCA. He has served 2 terms as Senator for CAP and in SGA, 1 term as Deputy Senate Speaker. He is presently the Senator for the Culinary Arts and Tourism Studies and the Speaker of the Honorable Chamber of Representatives. Because of his drive and passion for cooking, it has led him to many chances to excel cooking ultimate career goal is to become an executive chef, managing his own restaurant, or one day teach others the art and skills of cooking. SGA, please help me welcome your next speaker.
Good evening to everyone present here with me and those of you watching from the social media. What a great honor and privilege it is to stand here before each and every one of you at this grand occasion. My name is Selma Hudson, the Senator for Culinary Arts and Tourism Studies. The Senator for Culinary Arts and Tourism Studies and the Senate Speaker for the 2021-2022 Student Government Association. I am no stranger to the Student Government Association. I have served faithfully on 2 previous boards as the Senator for Culinary Arts and Tourism Studies, and 1 term as the Deputy Senate Speaker. When I first came to the University of Bahamas in 2018, I took on the lead of most students regarding the Student Government Association. I too questioned the effectiveness of the Student Government Association. Therefore, I joined not only to make a change, but to become the change from within. When I first joined the SGA, I was informed of 3 important objectives the SGA must achieve. 1, to advocate for students by serving them and protecting their rights. 2, to increase student engagement and participation. 3, to increase student morale and movement on campus. I am elated to say that I have faithfully executed each and every one of these objectives and will continually do so. So help me God. I have and will always be committed to the student body. I have represented them from the very first step. Through my SGA journey, I have had many different experiences, some good, some bad, but I have learned many lessons from them all. Every board I've served on was uniquely different in their own capacity, but they all shared one attribute in common, which is that we would all support one another. I have witnessed this time and time again. When I hosted my first event, the attendance was quite disappointing, but my SGA family was there to support me. It is my hope that with this new board, we possess that same attribute to always support one another, no matter what. Whether we show support through attending one another's events or simply sending a hi, how are you text, no matter the means, you must use all of these to check in on your members. The pandemic has presented difficult times for many. For us, the students, relocated to virtual learning, which was something new and different for many. But despite that, we all still choose to join the Student Government Association to be leaders. A quote from John Quincy Adams says, "If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader." And so I say to all of you leaders here tonight, let your actions be an inspiration to others.
Thank you, sir. As we bring this ceremony to a close, I'm going to ask those same 3 questions again. Did you learn something new from our guest speaker?
Yeah.
Did you just tell the truth?
Yeah.
And do you continue to have integrity?
Yeah.
Very good. Coming now with closing remarks and the vote of thanks is the Monte Mama, the SGA editor.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much.
Firstly, what I'd like to everyone to do is just look to the person on the side of you and just say, you look good. You look good. You look good. You don't want to smile, but you look good, right? Great. Thank you so much. You look good. Well, I've been giving my orders. I've been giving my orders to be nice and short, so I have the same privilege of just saying thank you to all of you for closing this wonderful ceremony. And of course, we'd like to just begin by saying thank you to all of those that are in attendance. Of course, all of the former members of Focus or SGA Association. I'd just like you to start firstly. I know we have some past presidents, past members. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for, staying with SGA. I guess I'm sure it's a testament that, as she sticks with you for life. We'd also like to thank our speaker, Mr. Ashley Knowles, is also the director of the speaker. Also a former Focus president, right? We'd also like to thank our Dean of Students, Joe Stubbs, for his attendance, representing the entire council. We'd like to thank Jan Brown and Martha. Of course, we'd like to thank all of the speakers, everybody that participated in this ceremony, including our teachers, our leaders, and children. We'd like to thank the team from the Office of University Relations. You see us doing so much things with Renbert right now. He's also a former Focus president. We'd like to thank you for all that you've done. Our photographer, Mr. Kival Williams, as well as our Director of Public Relations for the nice presentation that is. And the music is started. I'm sure your belly is waiting. Let's get on to the food. Let's get on to the socialization. Thank you all so much for being here.